Windows 7 on it, right? And you could have the interface.
Yeah, but that was the dumbest thing anybody'd ever do.
I know, but I can't figure out how to use Windows 10.
You just type. I mean, what do you want to do?
I don't know. See what the size of my disk drive is. You know, just the simple fundamental
So what program would you use to do that?
system.
So you just type it.
We basically do, yeah.
So you're not having any problems with Windows 10 figuring out how to do stuff.
I like 8.
Why do you like 8?
It's so much easier. You just type whatever you want to do and poof, it pops up.
Okay. Because I always go to the Windows, you know, this stuff, and then I try to figure it out from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but what's happening is there's so many utilities, there's so much junk.
Right, exactly.
So you use search. So you just type.
Okay. All right.
Click this thing
Huh?
right there.
Oh,
You want what, this or a system?
In Office, I only
Right
get a
there.
3 months. I only get a free subscription, right? Then I gotta buy it, right?
we have the freebie one.
I'm using the open source thing.
Open Office.
Open Office.
Isn't Word free?
360 is
had a
only a month
version
free,
of it.
right?
It's free for students. Do you have a .edu?
Oh,
Well, then it's not free.
Yeah, so I gotta stick with Open Office.
is it free for
Pay
all?
for Office.
Well, I have to pay for it, right?
Yeah?
360.
You have to pay for it. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's
know.
totally worth it.
But that's the whole reason why I'm here.
To learn why Office is worth it?
I'm a bean counter. I don't want to spend money.
Okay.
But I had to get Windows 10.
So OneNote is free. But I thought there was a freebie version of Word.
You might be able to use Word Online for free.
Maybe I'll,
Yeah.
Which, you know, if you always have internet, that can work.
Yeah.
But I don't always have internet.
Yeah. I know. Oh well. I'll go away now.
you don't have to go away.
I'll be right here.
Okay. You've been presenting, right?
Yeah, I've
You know what I
presented-
mean.
I've done SharePoint presentations recently. Those are always fun audiences.
This is horrible.
I make fun of them because they've been in the industry as long as I've been alive. They don't particularly like that. I believe it. It's just a new term to me.
Or office pens.
The office pens were before my time.
The office pens, none of them worked. That was a good marketing ploy because then you had to type on the computer.
That's entertaining.
I think we had like boxes of them. Oh, what the heck is this thing? Oh,
I found 2,000 of them yesterday. I was
I
like,
have Windows 7.
why do we have 2,000 Microsoft pens.
Some goof.
What?
No, they put them underneath our Minecraft storage in the marketing closet. Maybe then they will play with the Minecraft storage and
Emailing him.
Yep.
Is it on the web?
Well, I couldn't find it on the website anymore either.
Well, we got a pretty good house, huh?
Oh, are they? Oh, I picked it because I thought the other ones were more popular. All right. Did you drive or did you bark?
I drove. You need a ride?
No, I was going to offer.
Oh.
Since Janelle's not here, I don't have to take her home.
Food safety guarantee.
Our ham will not go bad before eating it.
Oh, guideline.
Just like Subway. They give you one napkin.
It is Subway.
I know. But at the store, that's how it is too.
That's what jeans are for.
Yeah. I use the inside of the bottom or my sock. Because then I figure no one will notice if I wear the jeans in it.
I haven't thought about that. I have 6 pairs of the same jeans.
So then no one really notices.
So really no one ever notices.
We're live, by the way.
So people all know about my jeans?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm trying to make it so that they don't see me eating.
What time do we normally start? 6:30?
Yeah. Or when it feels like everyone's here.
Okay.
You know where Janelle went?
She's in Seattle.
What's she doing up there?
I'm giving the same after camp she's giving here on Thursday
Oh, yeah. Okay.
on disaster recovery.
It's better than Jersey.
Yeah. She and I are switching. She comes home from Seattle tomorrow, and I go up to Seattle tomorrow. It's great.
I was in Portland.
Was it raining in Portland? It's raining in Seattle.
It was 101.
In Portland? Oh my gosh, when?
In July? Late July.
They don't have air conditioning in Portland.
I know. For the 1 or 2 days, it gets up to 100, right?
You're mine. What did they do next door that it's in like classroom setup?
They had a team building workshop all
That's
day
exactly
here.
what I was waiting for you to say.
And so people were like throwing things and doing trust falls and whatnot.
Oh yeah. How was that? Did you go?
I didn't go.
Oh.
I left work at 10 o'clock, had a doctor's appointment, came back, it was great.
Can we go to this other lighting setting?
You're welcome to play with that, sure.
There used to be one called Presentation.
And then they start selling popcorn, right?
I'm supposed to actually told Janelle that I would send them popcorn to just have here. Jackie said we could have it next to
Hopefully our
the.
next meetup will not be in here.
Can you
Hopefully
say
we'll-
that yet?
Yeah, we can say that. Or projected mid-October to open.
Sorry, what?
You can teach any more classes at GBC?
No.
Did you try the other light thingy?
There's
On the
all
wall?
ti-
I don't know if that helps.
I don't know. The other restaurant
Yeah.
has one that says meeting.
So DVC decided that they want to go in a different direction.
The 10-year-old classes with
So, so they want to, so are we we're not officially starting, but we'll go ahead. We might as well start talking. And then we'll start. So DVC is virtualizing everything. So virtualized routers, virtualized switches, virtualized servers, virtualized everything. And so I was looking, they have a really nice program that somebody wrote that shows you how to virtualize or virtually terminate an Ethernet cable. So you go to the virtual toolbox, you pick up the virtual wire cutter, I swear to you. You cut the virtual wire with the virtual wire cutters, you somehow straighten them out with virtual
virtually
fingers.
twist them and line them up just right. And be careful when you virtually crimp them.
Yeah. And then they got a virtual land meter so that you can test them. And I said, so, is it possible to flip the cables around to wire them wrong? And they said, well, no, why would anybody do that? Then, what?
Is that for real?
I swear to you, it is for real.
Does it work? And why are they teaching how to do a patch code when, well, they get pretty cheap price in the first place, don't they?
Well, how many times does somebody trip over a cord? I mean, you need a cable sometimes.
I just did 3 today. I mean, 2 months.
Virtualized ones, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It was hard for a high school graduation.
Can you virtually pay for your class?
That was like 6 years ago.
You convert. Don't get me started on that. Okay, wait, what was the other one? You were asking about something else? Or I was going to say something else. So,
Does it work? Does the virtual thing work?
We need more chairs.
well, yeah, at my students get A's and nobody hires them.
Or they hire them briefly.
Yeah, or they hire them until they say, oh, terminate this network cable. Virtual toolbox. Sorry.
We can keep it.
You caught me on a frustrating day. Oh, then I'm QAing this medical exam, right? For health industry, 6 units, so it's a 3-unit class, a 3-unit class. Year class culminates at the end of the year with an exam that's like $300, like CISSP, not quite, but it's a security exam for healthcare. I start looking through it, and they said, just at random out of the 1,000 pages of material in there, I just happened to pick out the one page, and it says IPv4 addresses, something IPv4 addresses, blah, 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 blah. But IPv4 addresses are being replaced by IPv6 addresses, and there are millions of IPv6 addresses. And I said, wait, there are millions of IPv4 addresses. And then I continue reading, and they talk a little bit more about IPv6, and they said, and an example of an IPv6 address is 192.168.1.1. So I taught, and I look, I kid you not, they spent 20,000 hours QAing all the material. So,
Unless you got one of those virtual degrees.
so now I wound up, I opened my mouth, now I got a contract to fix it. And then they're asking, we still have time, right? You guys are like a therapy session. I mean, this is insane. So they're asking like doctors, nurses, people. So the whole idea of the exam is, if you're in medicine, you should know a little bit about computers, right? Like you should know what wireless is and wired, what a database is, kind of some computer terms. And likewise, if you're working in IT, you should know a little bit about like what a needle is or what an EKG is, and what it is doctors are trying to do, save lives. So the idea is to kind of blend it together. I think it's a very good idea, right? And the one I read about, one of the questions was, it was a learning objective. Let me think. Devices attached to a computer network are called, and it was like peripheral devices, network peripheral devices, or devices that are peripheral. Something like that. And it's like, what What difference does it make? You know, there's a doctor care, and there's like a subtle difference. Like one of them is the correct answer, the others are wrong because one group includes a scanner and the other one doesn't. And I would say, who cares?
It's a network scanner.
Yeah, no, but they say like it's not a network device or something because it scans. It's like, well, I told the woman, I said, I wouldn't get this right. I couldn't pass the exam. You're not recording this, so I don't want to know. I'm already committed suicide.
So we were going to talk about Windows 10 tonight and how much.
Yeah. How much you all love Windows 10? Did you get Jeremy okay?
Yep.
11 missed calls. Let's see, what else you want me to rant about?
Comcast.
Oh yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I'm trying to figure out how many hours I've spent. It's got to be probably 30 hours over the past 10 hours a week over the last 3 weeks. So you want Windows 10 first, or you want the Comcast saga? Oh, come on.
Is anybody else having the same problem, or is it just you?
What?
Is anybody else having the same problem, or is it just you?
Well,
It's a joke. What did they tell you?
let me get into this. I need to tell you as the saga unfolds,
Okay, go ahead. All right.
and it hasn't completed yet.
All right. Talk to Dr. Phil.
Yeah, you guys are like Dr. Phil. Boy, is that guy a quack. Oh, no, Oz is the quack, right? I mean, he's a real doctor, but...
Then don't get you started on emails from Comcast.
Oh, yeah! Comcast was so nice, it deleted my wife's email account. Let me get that one going.
You gotta stop pissing them off, Doug.
You know, have we started yet? No.
Go for it.
You want me to go for it?
You can go.
You want me to plug in first?
Yeah.
I like your computer though, and you got the little.
Would you like to
sticky
borrow it?
thing.
You can borrow it.
Yeah, I'll bring it back. What, 2 years?
I need it. I have a 6 a.m. flight tomorrow. I need
No,
it
I'm
before
not
then.
going to 6 a.m.
No?
No.
I just need it back by 4. That's reasonable, right?
Drink it, take it back to her.
No, we can definitely San Mateo, or through Walnut Creek, 3:30. Morning, we be at my house.
Look, I got to go to Reading.
Ooh. Take my little sister with you.
Hot there.
Take my sister, please. Wait, do we get screen here?
Yeah, I just.
Oh, I got to do the thing. Sorry, no, silly me.
That's all.
Oh, I did that.
That's my fault.
No, duplicate.
And then you're not using HDMI, you're using VJ?
The other guy.
Yeah.
BG.
Uh-huh.
You probably work for Comcast, right?
And it has just very fast managed the mustard. And also, I was very happy. I was really worried because most of the time, when you get these things in bulk,
That's so
there's
fun.
still all the toppings on it. I'm very happy that they have all the toppings on it.
Is it the right VGA?
No, it's only now.
There's 2 VGAs.
Oh, there are?
Oh, good. Somebody over there.
I don't know what's anymore.
The other, did you look at the other?
There you go.
No, what's going on?
It's that one.
Like a U shape. Is this? So they're doing like cross balls and stuff.
Oh, that's fantastic.
For some reason you can't see your thing here, then
We should do a pack ID.
you should be able to. Close enough.
I'll tell you a little secret.
Yeah.
The SEC has a special forum on their site if you're unhappy with Comcast. And if you go there and you fill out that form, all like the hours and hours you spend on the phone with people and never get any resolution, suddenly you'll get an email from somebody especially fast with replying and responding to complaints about Comcast to the SEC, and they are really helpful and nice, and they'll do anything to keep you satisfied.
This is why you gotta come to these meetings so we can talk about this stuff. You just gave me something else that I forgot to talk about with Comcast. So my wife's email account, what was the other thing? Business versus residential.
CPUC. File a rate complaint, a rate
I gotta, plus $100, yeah.
You call CPUC. California Public Utilities Commission.
I actually need it. Do we have a piece of paper?
No.
No. All right, I'll keep writing on the wall.
Here, I have note cards.
Oh, okay.
Just pen work.
Does this pen work?
You can take a little rubber ball off the end.
That works. I gotta remember, I mean, the list just gets longer with Comcast.
Sonic, man.
Oh, I might as well keep writing up here. .net versus .biz.
Let's start one story, otherwise we'll never finish the last one.
How much time do you need? I might be here till midnight.
I can make this be 2 minutes or an hour.
Okay, sliding scale.
Do we get a vote in the ballot to that?
Sure. What?
You just call the CPUC Consumer Affairs Branch and you file a complaint, reference Comcast number, you can do that. They don't want a complaint. Are they just jerking around?
Oh, no. Oh, sort of. We really would like to help you. Actually, I shouldn't do that. That's not correct. I get all kinds of different accents. And you reminded me another one, too. What else do I need to write up
We
here?
used to call it equal opportunity offender.
Yeah, equal opportunity offender, EEOC. Equal, EOF. EOO. Ooh. So everybody here that wants to start? I don't know. We're starting. Welcome. So you like the free meal? It's from Microsoft. Yeah. Take credit.
Yeah. So now
So
they're not
I'm
giving
done.
us anything.
What?
Do it again.
What?
Signed for
Then I'm responsible for doing it again.
We're trying to get you on the hook. Okay, and is it official on the move?
Yes, it's coming.
For sure.
Yes, for sure, October.
Okay. So, this is PAC IT Pros, Pacific IT Pros, September meeting. Welcome, everybody. Meal tonight is courtesy of Microsoft because we need to talk at least 2 minutes on Windows 10. Because it's the Windows 10 product group that's paying for this. Yippee, right?
Thank you.
Okay, so now that we've all moved in here and we've all settled in, Microsoft is now moving.
Again?
Yeah,
Wow.
to someplace down by Caltrain, right?
Folsom, Folsom and
Folsom and Moscone,
Powell
someplace down
area?
there. What?
Folsom and Powell. Do those intersect? I don't know if those intersect.
Yeah. No?
Forget the
Right,
Wow.
Folsom,
What's Powell turn into?
Powell doesn't turn into anything.
Or Folsom and Market.
Westfield Mall.
Folsom and Market.
No.
No.
Keep trying.
No, keep
Those are-
trying.
Those are parallel.
It's on Folsom. I'll tell you that.
Also meant a number. Like 4.
Hopefully it's a low number.
So
Less than
it,
3 digits or less.
so I looked on the map, it's over by Caltrain. So it's
It's on
Townsend?
Sounds like the new
The station.
At King and Fun King Street.
well, we're having fun doing this. Do you know?
I'm looking it up. Give me.
Have they even
Fill
built the
some time.
building?
I, you know
Fill
what,
some
I think
time.
they're just trying to ditch us. They're just like, we'll give you the address as soon as we get moved in.
All right, so anyway, October's meeting, we're going down there, and Jessica Dean, some of you know Jessica, she's presented here several times before. She's giving a presentation on Linux monitoring tools, or tools to monitor Linux servers. And I think I'm gonna join her, or depending on how much time, because I've been working with Mike Panaki on how we can catch Comcast in lies. Is that a good way of putting it? Does Comcast ever lie to you? Only when somebody's awake talking on the phone is what my conclusion has been. Yeah, is AT&T worse? You know, remember that Sears catalog, it was good, better, best, right? You look and it's like Comcast, I don't know who is and instead of good, better, best, it's worst, worster, worstest. And I don't know if AT&T is worstest or if Comcast is worstest.
What other choices do you have?
None
That's
here.
really the problem.
Yeah, it's
Also,
America, we
they're-
don't need competition. We
Really?
need to be communist.
Are you guys
Folsom and Third.
Folsom and Third, what's by there?
Straight from us.
The San Francisco Passport Agency?
W?
The W? Yeah.
Oh, it's down by the W?
The St. Regis?
No, that's further.
It's across the street from the W.
Is that your old office?
It's next to Moscone?
It is my old office.
It's
What
next
floor?
to Moscone. I don't know.
Basically, that's Chevy's out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
yeah,
floor
it's
is
right by Chevy's, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's not there anymore.
Chevy's is gone?
Yeah, they closed that one.
It's gonna be an Esperance,
What's that?
What?
a Brazilian steakhouse.
Oh,
All right, all right.
Santana Row.
No. It just, we won't have to do badges or anything for the new building.
So this whole thing with the security that everybody's complaining about, once we move the new building, there's no security, it's a free-for-all, take all the computers, desks, tables, chairs. No, so Microsoft, from what I understand, what Janelle has told me, is building out a workspace. Or kind of a open lab, hacker lab, something along those lines.
It's a little petri dish south of Market.
Yeah, okay. So let me tell you about my joy of working with Comcast. So my day is, you know, I work at home a lot of times, and I have video calls and I have Vonage VoIP service, okay? So a lot of times my Vonage VoIP service, occasionally throughout the day, like that, right? And I'm thinking, why? So I call up Comcast and I say, what's wrong? And they said, oh, you're using VoIP over IP. And I said, yes, ma'am, I am. And they said, well, you have our basic internet business package, which gives you 16 megabits down and 3 megabits up. And I said, yeah, what's wrong with that? And they said, well, you don't have enough bandwidth. And I said, I don't have enough bandwidth? What drew you to that conclusion immediately? And they said, oh, well, sir, VoIP calls require more than 3 megabits. So I said, okay, excuse me, ma'am. Let's go to Vonage's website. VoIP calls 90K. I said, you know, all I need are two 56K modems, and I can have a VoIP call. And she said, well, you know, that's because you're using Vonage, and Vonage doesn't work very well. And I said, what? I said, well, why does it work, you know, 90% of the day, except sometimes it doesn't? And they said, well, that's because you're using Vonage. So, how do you respond to that logic? Oh, then they want to know, how many computers do you have at your house? And I said, I don't know, 20, 30, right? And they said, oh, well, sir, you can't have that many devices attached to a network and expect the internet to work. And I said, well, you know, it's been working fine for 10 years. You know, what's changed? So then, I swear to you, I've got one guy who I talked to, Russian guy, no offense to anybody, maybe he was someplace else, but sounded like Russian accent, really sounded like he knew what he was talking about, and he said, oh, sir, You have the legacy business package, which has the legacy modem, and our new bootloader for the modem is for the old version, and you have a smaller packet size.
What?
I said, that was pretty good mumbo jumbo, but I don't believe you at all. So then this other woman, I talked to another woman, another guy, and they're saying, well, we just know that Vonage, you need more than 3 megabits. And I said, if it's 90K, I have 3 phone lines at home. That's 270, right? I can do math. 270 is a lot less than 3,000, is it not?
Hey Doug, if what you're hearing
Yes?
is bad, it's not the upload speed that's the problem, that's download.
So yeah.
16 down. So just throw back at Comcast.
Excuse me, but that makes sense. So what do you do, right? So Comcast says, well, if you think there's a problem, we'll send a tech out to you. Yes, I swear this is what happened. And they said, and if you don't, we're going to charge you $100. And I said, look, I know I got a problem, right? So the tech comes out to the house. He whips out, I don't know, they used to be Fluke meters. What are they now? Anybody know?
I know the thing you're talking about.
Signal mover.
Yeah, the mumbo jumbo box that those guys don't know how to use is what I've concluded. Yeah, some land meter, right, or cable meter.
Yeah, it's
Right.
huge, right?
Yeah, big
Yeah.
thing. Fluke used to make them,
Yeah.
those big $10,000, $15,000, $1,000 things. So the guy hooks it up and he goes, oh, well, you have T3s, T4s, And I'm thinking, well, I don't know what he means, but, I've heard
That's the line
T3s.
speed.
Yeah, so I now realize that a group of T3s equals a T4. But that guy couldn't tell me that. But he immediately honed in on what my problem was. Within 10 minutes, he said, oh, it's the cable between the splitter and your modem. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, wait, the cable is bad? And he said, absolutely. No hub. So it goes from the pole.
Coax cable.
Yeah, the coax cable. The coax cable from the T that splits off to the TV that I don't use. So he promptly replaces, the little 3-foot cable that's been there for 10 years. And I said, what led you to that conclusion? And he said, well, you got these T3, T4s. And I said, yeah, but I'm not having dropouts. I'm having computer, right? And it makes no sense at all because that's layer 1. OSI model, that's layer 1. Oh, it's a disconnected cable. I said, look, if the cable disconnects, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you disconnect your cable, doesn't it take about 30, 60 seconds for the modem to reset?
Yeah.
Right? Because it's got to resync up like a dial-up modem days, right? You got to have links on both ends. So if the cable has a problem, that means you should see a disconnect, and I should have an outage of a minimum of 30 seconds. Would you agree with me on that?
Yeah.
Thank you. That's why I'm talking to you, sanity. Okay. So the guy then comes back and he goes, well, I'm also going to recommend that we replace the wire from the pole to your house. And I said, wait a minute, the cable that's been there for 20 years? And he said, yep.
Oh, I actually had that happen, but it was damaged. It really was damaged.
So mine's in a tube that goes under the street all the way, right? Yeah. So listen, I would understand, right?
Made sense.
And I can understand like some outages, like somebody drives by with a nuke device and it kind of radiates and puts in a lot of signal noise into the wire.
You can have a kink or something in a cable that acts like a notch filter, and it's because the internet service is at certain frequencies on the cable, and if you have a notch in one of those, you get weird, unexplained.
100% agree with you. So would that come and go? Would it not be there at 9 in the morning and then not be there at 9:05?
No.
So that would be layer 1 versus this is higher layer. So I asked him, I said, maybe this has something to do with layer 3. And the guy goes, oh no, we don't have layer 3. What do you do, right? So the only thing I can do is start swearing now. So then, hold your. So then I start doing some pings, right? I ping to 8888. Bleeping A, look at this. Oh, look. 1.3 seconds. Oh.
And then down to 24 in the next packet.
Yeah, 24. Yeah, big hunkin', packet loss there. Is that acceptable?
What's Jeremy texted you?
Huh?
Depends on your package.
That Jeremy.
Depends on what's in the package.
Because you showed up and I'm like,
Ping.
oh, can't be you. No.
Right? These are ping
You're
packets.
here.
Some ping loss is acceptable. But big chunks, forgive me, but that don't look right to me.
Could be worse.
Then I do it some other
Yeah, it
time.
could be.
That was a good line. It could be worse than it is. So, what do you think that happens on a VoIP call?
We had a connection from Sonic is what we do.
I mean, okay.
Does this story have a name?
Next month. All right, so let me go back one slide here.
How much should they charge?
Well, the guy said, I'm replacing the cable, so we're not charging the $100. So then a couple days goes by, or a week goes by. I then get the beep, 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 and it's like, oh no, here they come. It's Comcast. The guy starts whipping out all the spools of cable, and I thought, what are you doing? And he said, well, we got an order to replace the line to your house. And I thought, uh-oh. And the way it works is my cable, we've got the box, and the thing, and there's a conduit that goes underneath all the concrete and everything, goes underneath the house, and then it comes kind of through one of the walls and then up to the to a splitter to the modem, right?
So you've got the private vault, the whole street at your house.
Yeah, but this is only my line. Okay. So the guy comes, I get a dental appointment, we start ripping the cable out, right? And the first thing he does is it runs through a tube. So what does he do? Cut the end off. So now we can't use it as a pole. Guess who's got to climb underneath the house, right?
Him.
At least it's not a sewer line.
It's my house. I'm not going to trust the Comcast guy with the rats under my house,
Carefully. Wait, you gonna hurt the rats?
Yeah, you never know what the Comcast guy is going to do. Okay, so he replaces the cable, right? This was like 4 or 5 hour deal. It wasn't that easy. I won't go through all that. So he finally replaces it. He goes, okay, we're all done. Oh, wait. I think the cable between the splitter, I swear to you, he replaced that cable. I've had that cable replaced 4 times over the past probably 9 months. So then I jump on a conference call with Microsoft, and within 15 minutes, dead air. It's like, what happened to the conference call? And I look, no internet connection. It's like bleeping A, so I got to go out there and reset. Oh, and the guy said, let me give you a new cable modem too, because I'll give you a Netgear. You have that old SMC. And I said, are you sure? And he goes, yeah, it's a much better modem because it's got more channel bonding and more crap that I don't know what the heck it means. I don't even know if it matters. Yeah, so then, now I started reading. I don't know nothing about cable modems, right? I started reading, what the heck is DOCSIS 3? And it's data over cable net services, am I right? So I start reading DOCSIS 3. Now this gets more interesting. DOCSIS 3, right, supports like up to 500. I don't know what the specs are, but it's all these channels, they're bonded together. And so it's the number of channels that get bonded together. And it also supports, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, because lots of times I am, but it also supports IPv6. Does that, anybody contradict me?
But
so does DOCSIS 2, so.
Oh, DOCSIS 2 does? Okay.
I think DOCSIS 2 does.
Okay. So I just picked out, because DOCSIS 3 is DOCSIS 2.1 backwards compatible. So I got a DOCSIS 3 modem, Surfboard
yeah.
from Motorola. I log in and I see that it's only got IPv4. And I thought, oh, okay, well, that doesn't seem right. So I called Motorola and I said, how do I flash it? And they said, oh, you just plug it into your cable provider. They got a bootloader, they'll reflash it. So I call Comcast, and what do I get on the other end? Oh, yeah. So I go to Fry's.
Bad cable.
Oh, yeah, bad cable.
At least they don't have
Your
up to
cable doesn't
three.
support D6.
Okay.
Usually only three.
So anyway, we were playing. So my business internet cable service goes down a couple more times in the same afternoon, and I'm getting like not this, but screens have timed out, and I go reset, and after about 5 minutes it comes back. The next day everything kind of stabilized a little bit, but I was still getting kind of this kind of stuff. So I then did the next one, and I did a trace route. Right? And I start looking here, right? My house, less than 1 millisecond, good to me. 1 millisecond out to the gateway, looks good to me. As soon as we get here, right? 16, 10, 13, looks good, right? I'm on Comcast network. You agree with me? Not my problem anymore. Half a second here, going to Walnut Creek. Drop packet. Half a millisecond, over half a millisecond. Drop packet to Pleasanton. Drop packet, over half millisecond, or half second. Drop to Pinole. Drop, 330 millis, a third of a second to Santa Clara. Timed out, we don't care. And then 13, all of a sudden it's acceptable going to Google.
By way of Walnut Creek to Livermore, by the way, let's go to Pinole too.
So now I've had probably 6 Comcast texts come out to my house. And I've got the supervisor's card, Garin, I think is what his name is. So I email him this, and he said, oh,
It's the cable from the.
looks like it's the cable at your house.
Not the one in Walnut Creek.
I swear to you, I said, well, look at the trace. What would lead you to that conclusion? And he said, well, nobody else is having a problem. And I said, well, are you pinging from somebody else's house right now this second? And he said, well, we did it a couple hours ago. And I said, well, go out and look at the Bay Bridge traffic at 3 a.m. and everything will look great. But right now, it doesn't. Okay. Then I do another one, right? This is a couple days later. Less than 1 millisecond. This all looks good to me. All of a sudden we get that Walnut Creek again, half millisecond. I hope this is not the same slide. Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Just stretch it a little bit.
14, 13, 15.
Try.
Okay.
Bigger isn't different.
Stretching the cable. Stop stretching the cable.
I do. So I'll be honest with you. I then set up one machine. I got 30 computers, right? So I got one and I keep running, right? Ping 8888, and I've got another one going trace route, and I kind of go over and over. And it is I've never really analyzed this because, it's like phone service. If it works, who cares? But it was really interesting to kind of figure out what's going on. Okay.
So Walnut
Let-
Creek lost the cable.
Let me
Maybe it's
continue.
because my internet speed's too fast.
Doug, if you consider moving,
No. But I considered taking the cable and maybe wrapping it around my neck. So, then, things were okay. I mean, this looks, except for this. But we're getting okay. Okay. So Comcast guy comes out today, right? I can't do this. So now it's Comcast turn. Comcast guy comes out today. I do a trace route, and I was still coming up. Let me go back here, right? I was still coming up with these issues in Walnut Creek, Pleasanton, Pinole, and Santa Clara. These guys consistently have the same problem. The guy comes back to me with a ping. Let me think. I don't remember how he did this, because this was really brilliant. It was clever. He did a ping packet to Yahoo, right? And he pings whatever, yahoo.com. And I'm looking at the addresses. All the ping times were, okay. Then I look and I said, I'm having these trace route, long delays in trace route similar to this. And he goes, let me do a trace route. And he goes, wow, this is interesting. He's got a problem someplace down in LA. So I start looking at the trace routes, and he goes, this is really interesting because I'm not going to Pinole or Santa Clara. And I didn't really look at his screen that closely until I really sat down right in front of it, and I saw that he was pinging yahoo.com, okay, at 2001 : 000.abc.1234. He's pinging he's trace routing to an IPv6 address. And I said, why are you doing that? Of course it's going to be different. And what does the guy say? Oh, no. No, he would take the same route. They're all dual home, dual stacked, whatever they call that stuff. And I said, well, that might not be. Someplace in the middle might not support IPv6. That's why it's taking a different route. And he said, well, this is a tool I have, and, this is what I'm seeing, and it's different. So it's like, So, so one's IPv4, one's IPv6, and then he pings yahoo.com for reasons I don't understand. It's IPv4 that comes back. So now I've got to teach him the difference between IPv4 and v6, even though he's pinging yahoo.com. You with me on this?
So did you get him to do the ping that you did and did it duplicate?
No, he disconnected.
Was this guy at your house?
Yeah, this guy came to my house this afternoon.
It's your circuit.
So it's my circuit. He's plugged into my modem, right? He's got an IPv6 address off of my modem. I do not understand why ping versus trace route, one was 6, one was 4. But the more important part on this is the guy doesn't know the difference.
And he's the supervisor?
I ran out of time. Okay. Yes.
So a lot of the Comcast stuff, we have a lot of clients that use Comcast, and we were and generally their performance was acceptable until network neutrality went through. At which point, a lot of this core stuff started having issues, and they continued to ramp up. We've got a bunch of clients that we've added secondary internet connections from Sonic.net for their voice over IP traffic.
So why does internet neutrality affect this?
Traffic shaping, maybe?
Because their narrative says that we can't do any management of our network because of network neutrality. It has to go, or things are just going to get awful. And that's what they're telling the FCC, and that's what. I'm looking at the bigger picture, and these are some things that are kind of seem to be coming together. Their performance is degrading, not out at the edges, but in the core. As if somebody's going, yeah, let it go ahead and fall down. Let it, just let's do what we have to do to make it bad.
Yeah. Okay. So I am paying a premium for business service, right?
Why didn't you switch to Sonic.net?
Because I can't get it. I cannot get DSL either.
Yeah.
Why?
Where he lives.
Yeah.
Yeah, he lives on the sticks.
I live in the rich area where we don't allow that riffraff traffic.
And he only gets Sprint service at his
He
house
doesn't have the
too.
fiber V boxes in the
Okay.
neighborhood yet.
So a couple other things that were going on. The guy would come out to my house. All these guys would come out and run speed tests, right? And they go, oh, look at how, you're paying for 16.3 and you're getting 16.3. And I said, well, yeah, because I'm not having the problem right now. You gonna camp out here in my garage, and when I got the problem, I'll tell you to run speed test?
Or your bandwidth is great, but you get 60 milliseconds of jitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't understand jitter, right?
So they don't, oh,
Okay.
actually, they don't even know what jitter is.
But they're selling VoIP service.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So their VoIP runs on a different channel.
Yeah.
So the VoIP doesn't touch the data network until it gets to their core.
So Comcast sales tells me it runs on a different cable.
No, it runs on the same cable.
And they told me they would have to string a new cable from the telephone pole to my house so I could have VoIP.
It runs on the same cable. So the same cable coming in has the data channels. It's got the video channels, and then the channel to the use for voice.
So then I talked to the residential guys and I talked to the business guys, and depending on who you talk to, I think I have the story on this. But the business people tell you, oh, if you're on Comcast Business, we guarantee a 4-hour response time for every problem.
Service level agreement.
What?
They give you service level agreement.
Of 4
They
hours.
give you slower service.
Okay.
You get 80 megabytes on residential, and it doesn't break. They don't offer anything.
Well, residential, they have up to 4 days to repair, is what they tell me.
It doesn't break.
That's exactly the thing we have.
Okay. So let me tell you what I was told. Okay. Business versus residential. You talk to Comcast Business and the sales team, and they say, oh, the business traffic runs over a separate network. And so the text would come out, and I'd say, okay, different network. So does that mean on the telephone pole you got a separate router? The business guys say, oh yeah, we have a whole separate cable infrastructure. I'm thinking, in my residential neighborhood, you're running 2 wires everywhere? That doesn't make sense.
All the way to Google.
So finally, I'll kind of spare you some of the entertainment value here. But finally, what I think the guy who told me I felt was pretty comfortable, or I was comfortable with his answer. And what he told me was that business service uses the same wire as residential until, in my case, you get to Walnut Creek. And once you hit here, then it's got a separate backbone.
Great.
Okay, so that I would believe. So then what the bleep am I paying, like 3 times the price for business service at my home?
So switch back and see if it changes.
So that's what I did. Right? I've got my daughter's house. I'm paying for her $16.3, the $80 or $100 a month. I call up Comcast, and they said, and actually somebody said, oh, if you switch over to the residential service, things are much better. It's a faster network. Those were the words. It's a faster network. And I said, you mean I'm paying the premium to be on the slower one?
Yes.
Okay.
But they make you feel good about getting some service.
So I call up Oh, by the way, I forgot this. While I'm dealing, with this VoIP problem, Comcast, they said, okay, for my 90K of Vonage traffic that you're giving me on a 3 meg, how much do I need to spend so I can have the bandwidth that I need? And they kind of, blah, 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 blah. Oh, $100 more a month. And I said, crap, I'm paying already $100. You want me to pay another $100 just so I can get better service because the service you're offering me you can't deliver? So I called my buddy Mike Panaki. You know Panaki, right? The network guy. And all he did was laugh and laugh and laugh. And once he was done that, he was laughing and laughing. He said, you're the sane one, they're the crazy ones. So we talked about the business and the residential. We have that. Okay.
Well, see, I had a thought. I read this in the newspaper in the bathroom at Stanford's a couple weeks ago.
In the bathroom, huh?
Yeah, they have the newspaper.
Oh, okay.
Urinal. Yeah.
You pee on it?
Only at the end of the day. But there was 10 incidents where fiber lines were cut in the Bay Area.
12.
12? Oh, okay.
12 total.
So I wonder if because of the...
It says 23.
Oh, wow.
And it's actually a lot greater than you realize when you actually analyze what they're doing. They're cutting 911 lines.
Well, I thought they were.
They're actually testing.
They're just practicing.
When they cut the one down down in San Jose, they took out 911s. They took out Otis, and I wrote the software. I wrote one of the deployment programs for SBC 15 years ago. So
Oh.
I know a lot about where the fiber goes.
Well, so that's why I was wondering if maybe this is related to that, because if
don't they have failover?
Well, yeah, but the
They're
failover
not-
was
they're
the.
not cutting. They're not cutting this stuff. They're cutting the big trunk lines with 30,000.
The backbone line.
Yeah.
It's like where were you living? The cable or the crane came along and hooked that 10,000-volt line.
Right. Well, so like they're saying Walnut Creek, Fremont, Alamo, San Jose, and Berkeley.
Terrorists.
Actually, they cut the fiber optic lines going into the Metcalf sniper attack down in San Jose, and they disabled a whole bunch of lines at the same time. They're experts at what they're doing.
The people are cutting the
You
lines,
guys, I'm
right?
deeply involved in the case. I can just tell you that right now. I know all
Yeah.
about it.
So it's unlike the lady who was it in Estonia that was walking around collecting metal and thought, "Oh, here's a cable. Let me cut this," and it was the internet service to all of Estonia.
Yeah, they only
So-
have one MPOE.
Yeah.
Before we go too far down the crazy
Yeah.
conspiracy level thing, there was also a power station in February of 2014 that was shot up by a sniper
The
rifle.
explosion of the sniper.
And that's the actual truth as well.
The sniper
I-
attack
oh.
the maps on my laptop.
The only reason I thought that is because they cut one in Walnut
this
Creek
is
and
bad,
Fremont.
This is bad network management. It's
Yeah.
not somebody going
100%,
crazy.
yeah.
It's
You would have no responses
Right.
instead of, "Oh, I'll respond here, but not there, and I'll respond there." Okay. So let me kind of. I decided to switch over. Comcast is giving me 75 down, 5 up for it's either 24 a month or $25 if I go to Fry's and buy the $50 modem. So the $50 or $70 or $60 whatever it is DOCSIS 3 modem supports IPv6. Why some of the surfboards?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why some of them, exact same model, support IPv6 and others don't, I don't understand. So Mike said, tell you, Doug, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go out and buy MikroTik. Check this out. The MikroTik stuff. I've talked to you about that, right? No?
No.
Okay, where's the mouse thingy? Give me a second here.
Mouse thing, is that the technical term?
Yeah, look, I'm a college professor. I can call it whatever I want. So do we have, yeah, okay. Amazon, okay. Check this out.
Yes, he's
Are you talking about a hotspot?
You know how to use one of those mousey things?
No.
The mouse thingy. Thingy is the,
Let me go to Amazon.
You just do control L on
the Amazon thingy.
It's already there for you.
Yeah, this auto thing. Oh, I must be on Comcast. It's so lightning fast. You know, you guys, you're giving me. Next time the Comcast guy comes out to my house, I'm going to have to go, "Whoa, your blazing internet speed is way too fast for me. Can you slow it down?" Yeah, let me see what I got here. Can we look at browser? Yeah, here we go.
That one's cool looking. It's red.
As a sells it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what sells it. Okay. So I don't know how we can do this quickly. Okay.
Selling pink ones.
Yeah, that'd be great. I mean, they sold routers with screens to try to get people to buy them.
Well, they used to sell pink laptops, right?
I think they still do.
Yeah,
Do they still do?
I bought one for my niece.
Yeah, a little.
That's why she liked it, right?
No, she was going away to college, and I would reduce the number of gangsters that would be in stealing and walking away with their.
That's why Doug used to have a purple phone case, because then he knew nobody in the tech industry with it.
I ran around with pink because I worked for a cell phone company. We had to throw our cell phones in a box.
Yeah.
Everybody had black cases, and they go, "Oh, you got the pink one." I said, "Yeah,
Yep.
I'm out of here."
Yeah, company used to
So
work for
I talked to Mike. Check this out. Look at the price. $20 for a MikroTik router board. This is 2.4 only.
But it's also 10-100.
Yeah, and 2.4 only.
It's wireless.
But it's barely worth the $20 you're paying for it.
Oh, my friend, that's where you're wrong. My friend,
We
that's
don't
where
have
you're
close neighbors. There's no 2.4 left where I live.
Yeah.
Nah, but hold on. Let me see if I can find the let me just go to MikroTik.
You can add your own access points separately.
So have you tried this? And have you
So what's so wonderful about this little puppy? That's the question.
Let me show you the other ones. So this is MikroTik. They're they're produced or designed in the tech capital of the world in Latvia. You know where that is?
Right next to Albonia.
Someplace. So check this out, $209. Okay.
24 port.
We got, oh, look at this.
Oh, this is like the Meraki.
24 port. This is a cloud router switch. It's layer 2, layer 3. Any one of these ports can be a switch port. Any one can be a router port. Now how much would you pay?
But wait, there's more.
You got the fiber link.
Oh.
You got the USB link. Yeah, I got to do this.
But you can't connect the cable.
But you can't connect the cable because I'm with Comcast. So you take your USB connection, you put it into your MiFi or whatever the the LTE, and you can run cellular over the whole thing, right? But wait,
So you can have internet in Latvia.
so you can have internet anywhere you want.
But wait, there's
It's
more.
got Wi-Fi, but check this out. It's got a touch screen on the top. It's color. So you can see each port. You can see overall traffic. You can see whatever you want.
It's way better than Blinky Lights.
Isn't that better than lights?
Yeah.
The little piece of RAM.
$179.
You gotta pay for it with euros, though.
Question?
No, you just said $179.
Yeah, how much would you pay for Cisco?
The price went down.
24 gigs, right? 24 gig, no fan, so it's completely quiet.
Oh.
The only drawback is it's 2.4 only.
Yes.
So what we're doing is I'm putting one of these in my house. This is it's a layer 2, layer 3. It has SNMP, right? Simple Network Management Protocol. So we can start polling all the ports and getting the stats. I'm going to put one of the $20 units at my daughter's house. I've got then a VPN back here. She'll have dynamic addressing. I have static. I can initiate. She can initiate the connection, the VPN to me. So now I've got 24/7 monitoring that's going on all the time. So I've got another one that I'm going to send up to Mike, and so all of us are going to be monitoring all of Comcast network. See where this is going? For free.
How are you going to connect this to the cable network?
Well, hopefully the cable network will work.
Cable modem.
No, so we just go cable modem. Right? So each.
So you're going to need a cable modem and then plug it into
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's cable modem into here. I got to get, Comcast has to get some money out of me.
That's so weird they don't make 5 gigahertz ones.
They do, but they're different setup. You got to.
They charge real money for that.
Yeah, it's part of a chassis where you build them together. In Latvia, there's not a lot of 5G. There's not a lot of Wi-Fi traffic. The nice thing about these is that Router OS is almost identical to Cisco. So if you know Cisco iOS, you can manage, or the commands are close enough that if you know Cisco well, or if you know MikroTik's Router OS, you can go back and forth very easily. Okay, what's the other thing? But this is fully managed. No fan in here, so it's completely quiet. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this. Oh, wait, let me go on some other MikroTik stuff.
Yeah, they got these cool antennas. How far can we shoot this?
So check this, right?
You can go pretty far with good.
All right, let me go
Oh,
back.
he lives in Orinda and I live in Walnut Creek.
There you go.
And there's a hill in between.
Well,
We can bounce it off the moon, right?
We do a beam
You
backup
may need a
across
repeater.
Ubiquity, and it has a repeater in the middle too.
Oh.
Because we're building in the middle.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
Exactly.
These things here, 16 miles, no license required, 59 or whatever I saw, $69.
For a 6-pack?
No, for one. Oh, you mean the 6? So do we, I guess pricing isn't here. They've got these other ones in the 5 gig. And, you know, they're, here, you know, like $89. Here's a 5 gig. These are power over Ethernet, so all you got to do is just plug in and poof, you're done. It's all completely molded in plastic, right? If you go with the 6-pack,
Is it space age plastic?
yeah, space age plastic.
Is it a space age polymer?
So then if you go up here, you look at some of these, you could, if you're in, so this SXT 6-pack, if I'm not mistaken,
Apparently.
okay, the 6-pack, one of these guys, you could put this in your neighborhood and provide internet service to everybody. So you could,
Comcast.
what? Yeah. So you could get the 300 meg, right, service from Comcast and run these to your neighbors. And you also have QoS, so you have bandwidth throttling.
If you're in the right area, you can get Comcast new 2 gigabit or 2 gigabit service.
2 gig?
2
Doug,
gig.
I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that's gonna break your,
Comes with a 10 gig
your
net.
agreement with Comcast,
Don't tell
your
them.
users.
So I also have one of these. These were about $60 or $70. So what's nice about these is they have SNMP, so that means they're fully manageable. Unlike Cisco, I can manage all of these from one console. So if I've got, say, 50 customers, I can manage them all from one location.
Like Meraki, but free.
Yeah, but like Meraki for free. I can also pre-stage the code so that if I've got like 50 of these that I want to deploy, I can load it into essentially like a script file and just deploy them all. So unlike your home routers that you're paying, what, $200 for, you get 5 gigahertz, but you know, you can script the whole thing.
Line of
on
sight,
this.
right? You have
These
to
are
have-
line of sight.
Right, and
Yeah.
how are they getting powered?
PoE.
Okay, so you're gonna run up the top of on your roof, and you're gonna point this in the general direction you wanna go, and run an extension cord down into the.
Well, you just run a Cat 5 cable up, or Cat, Cat
PoE,
6.
okay.
Yeah, power over Ethernet. By the way, I wasn't aware of this, and thanks to Robert on this, I looked this up. New power over Ethernet standard is now, and somebody Cisco might correct me, but I believe it's 75 watts. So you could have a 75 watt light bulb powered with power over Ethernet. And
It's a laptop.
yeah, and that's exactly what they're doing it for, is that way you can have these new, you know, small,
Nux.
the NUCs. Intel is,
Yeah,
yeah.
Intel NUC.
Have you seen the Intel NUCs?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah.
Nux.
NUCs?
Nuts.
Yeah. New
NUC.
unit of
Ubuntu. You get that one. So if you get, I mean, they're the size of like a Chromecast, a little bit bigger.
4 inches square and about an inch and a half deep.
Yeah, I've seen them like 1.5 by 3 inches.
I've got one sitting in my Mando. I use it as a media server.
Yeah, I use one as a door stop, keeps the door open.
Works better as a media server.
No. So like I said, the nice thing about these is if you have customers, right? Mike was telling me there's a guy who goes motorhoming, RVing,
Yeah, that's what they call it.
and he goes into a campground and he puts up a big sign. Internet service, $10 a day or $20 a day. He's got one of these router boards that he sticks up. People sign in because they've got one of those portals where they got to sign in and he monitors bandwidth. And then he's got to go into a cellular network someplace. All right. So do I have more with Comcast? Oh, yeah.
What's net versus biz?
Okay, so I told you I had my Comcast service, which was business at my daughter's house because I thought it would be better and faster, switched over to residential. Now, follow me on this and what Comcast says. For the past 10 years, I have had my wife's internet account, which is a Comcast.net, under my Doug Comcast account. When we moved the service over, we have to move the email accounts that my daughter has, which are part of the Comcast, whatever the stupid name is, .biz. Who uses .biz? But Comcast Business does. In doing so, last night, my wife's email stops working. You with me so far? Sounds like denial of service to me. Some hacker got in there and screwed up with Comcast, right? Isn't that denial of service? I send her an email and it bounces back immediately, says, not a Comcast customer. And I said, wait a minute, sure she has for 10 years. So I call Comcast and they're like, oh, that's level 2. We can't help you now. Then I call up this morning and they go, oh, you're a business customer. And I said, yeah, but it's a residential account. So they put me over to the business. I talked to the business and they said, oh, your legacy, you need to be with residential. Let me transfer you. I said, wait, I was just at residential. So then I thought, okay, I gotta be smarter than Comcast. So I look up Comcast tech support and I said, I'd like to report a denial of service attack or a denial of service against my wife's email account. Obviously, somebody at Comcast is doing something illegal because I don't have service anymore. You with me on that? Is that true? Right? So I said, I'd like to find out who the responsible party is at Comcast. And they said, oh, well, nobody would do that here. And I said, well, then you got a bigger problem because somebody has breached your network, right? And they said, no, that couldn't be either. And I said, well, you tell me why it's a denial of service account. Some guy called me back. He was actually pretty nice about it. And he said, you're part of the .net, which is legacy, so you have to do it through Xfinity.net, even though you're a business. And it's like all this mumbo jumbo stuff. It's, I don't care. Now I know how to reset her password. But it's like, crud, why did they delete her account? So I talked to the guy and he goes, oh, why, sir, when you moved your daughter's email account over, right? I got to remember this. When you moved your daughter's email account, along with it came your wife's account, so we had to disable it. And I said, but you're moving it from the account that it's on to the account that I want it to be on, which is the same account, correct? And he said, yes. And I said, so you're moving it from the account that it's on to which ends in like 800 to the account that I want it to be on, which is 800, and you disable it for 24 hours. And they said, yes, because we're moving it. And I said, well, I'm the primary account. You didn't move me. And they said, well, we didn't have to. And I said, well, why'd you have to move my wife's? And they said, well, the log file shows it was with your daughter's account. And I said, no, for 10 years it's been, because that was the second account I set up. It's like, crud. Am I insane?
Yes.
For working with Comcast.
Why don't you have your own personal domain name? I don't know.
Because I'll tell you, this is the best answer I can give you. I'm going to die soon. I don't want to spend dinking around with domain names and DCOM and all that other crud. And I'm trying to get my wife onto Gmail. God, if you ever want a reason to go to Gmail or Outlook.com or whatever that stupid free services is. I'm so fed up with this stuff. So Mike and I are setting these up. I'll either talk about this next month or the month after, but what we're setting up, and I invite you to take a look at this. Mike has talked about this for years. Let me see. And it's called Smoke Ping. Do you remember Smoke Ping? Let me take a look here. We need pictures, don't we? Everybody wants pictures. Okay, here's a good picture. Okay. Okay, this has got to be one of the best things ever. Okay? This is Smoke Ping. What it does is it sends out, every 5 minutes, it blasts out 20 packets, 20 ping packets. And there are a whole series of variations, so you can do curl, you can do HTTP, you can look at DNS. I mean, the pages just go on and on and on about the different services that you set up. It's pretty easy to do it because even I can do it. So what happens is, you just leave this running on like some old crappy old laptop that's got some battery that's just going to keep going and going and going. And what it does is it sends out a ping every 5 seconds. It then plots it. And the darker the color is where most of the pings are arriving. So if you take a look here, the smoky part up here, that's not too dark means there was probably one ping up here. Most of them are down here. Green means no packet loss. This was, so there are 20, this is what I was looking for. The probe is 20 ICMP echo packets, 56 bytes every 300 seconds. Is that 5 minutes?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. 30, yeah, okay. So we blast this out. What's great about this is you can look at it yearly, you can look at it monthly, you can look at it weekly, you can look at it hourly. And you might be able to go sub-hour. I forgot. I think you can. So this is what, like a week's worth of time here. Okay, the different colors, one packet lost, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 19 out of 20 are red. So we can see in here, someplace we were having 3, 4 packet loss. 3 or 4 packets that were lost. Is this what you need, right, to go after Comcast? So this is what Mike and I are putting in. And what we will do is all these different Comcast routers, that are on this trace. I missed, didn't I? Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! What the heck did I click?
So are you
on?
thinking of trying to sue Comcast, or are you just trying to looking for something to take?
No!
Because their tech support people don't even know what you're talking about.
But you gotta be able to get it elevated somehow.
No.
Yeah.
You
Not
can't?
so much.
You never get past level 2.
No,
Or
you
whatever.
can't even get to level 2.
It doesn't matter. They give those guys, they grab those guys off the street for $8 an hour, and they give them a book of problems and answers.
Oh.
And if it's outside, if it's not on the list,
They got
then
nothing.
that problem doesn't exist.
Yeah, they got
Replace the cable.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I guess that's true. That's all they'll ever do. Huh?
So wait,
They're really
wait,
good, they wouldn't work there.
wait.
Yeah.
This has got to be the best punchline of the day. I call him today this morning. I finally call Comcast, corporate offices, and sir, we'll call you right back. So sure enough, 2 hours later, a guy calls me back, and I said, oh, thank you, somebody's going to help me. And he said, sir, what's your problem? And I said, my wife's email account has been deleted. It's denial of service. We can't send or receive emails. He said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. What's the error message? And I read to him from a DNS bounce, or from a email bounce that says, not a Comcast customer. This account does not exist. You with me on that? You've seen those, right? When you type wrong email addresses. So the guy goes, I'll help you. Ready? Not replace the cable.
Did you double check?
Let me reboot your modem. Can I do this?
They're too stupid to be evil.
What do we do? I mean, what do you guys? I swear, I'm ready to start. On Craigslist, I swear, once I get this thing up, I'm going to run. Some. Oh, wait, I had 2 ideas. One is the website. Are you smarter than a Comcast tech? What do you think? Okay. The other one I thought is I should go on Craigslist. These little $20 things, give them to everybody's house and say, let's monitor Comcast. Let's show the world how screwed we are by Comcast. But I don't know what that would do.
Yeah, what you can do to do.
Mail them glitter.
What?
Mail them glitter.
Oh, you're evil.
Glitter?
Glitter.
Yeah.
You open it, it goes everywhere.
When the Comcast texts come to go.
anthrax in the mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, then they'll come after me and sue them. It's like, I mean, this is like Lily Tomlin. I swear, go watch Laughing. Remember Lily Tomlin? You know, Ernestina, the telephone operator. We're the phone company. We don't have to care. Somebody needs to redo that. We're the cable company. We're the internet company. We don't have to care.
So I've got Comcast out right now, but I've also got Astound. So I actually run both Comcast and Astound. They're going into
Simultaneously?
Meraki. Yeah, well, I get a Meraki, so my Comcast is a lot faster, and we're actually in a good area. It works great most of the time, except when they're having DNS problems or they're having problems like that. At which point it fails over seamlessly to Astound, and I don't have any problems.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Wave. It used to be.
Yeah.
I'm on Wave now.
Well, I've got one for you, Doug.
Yeah.
I've got 3 Comcast services and 1 AT&T as a backup. I've got 2 personals, a business, and an AT&T as a backbone.
So one thing that I've learned out of all this is that my daughter's residential, I'm trying to provision the modem that I got from Comcast. Okay. And I called Comcast to activate, and they said, what address is the modem at? And I thought, address? The address that it's at now or the address that it's going to be at? And they said, well, if you're not at the address that it's going to be at, we can't activate the modem because the tech has to go up on the telephone pole and connect or move the wire from the business side to the residential side. And I said, what? And he said, oh yeah, it takes about a day for our tech to go out there, and because you're converting from business to residential, they got to climb the telephone pole. And it's like, oh.
Move around to that second network.
So what I did learn is once you provision a Comcast modem, which makes perfect sense, as long as you're roughly the same geographical area, you can have business and you can have residential modems all teed off the same Comcast network.
Yeah, I
So-
have one tap from the pole,
Yeah.
being 2 business, 1 business modem, 1 personal on 1 property. The second property has personal modem on it. It's all coming off of 1 wire.
Yeah, so what I did in my house is I just unscrewed the Comcast TV that I never use anyway and just screwed it into the modem. Now I've got residential. So now I can actually compare them. And I have not done this, but I can actually do trace routes and actually figure out, are they going over the same network and where they differ, right?
It would also be interesting if you could,
Bad places.
because they'll have different public IPs. It'd be interesting to ping or trace route one to the other to see how far it goes.
Yeah.
Because then you control both ends of the stream.
And then also pick a bad spot. Pick the same bad spot from both boxes.
So,
I'll
yeah.
give you another note in Concord if you want to expand the network. I'll set one of those up in Concord.
So you give me the $20, or give cough up the $20.
Yeah, I'll do one too.
Sure.
Because I have the fast internet in Walnut Creek. I want to see if.
So I tell you what I would like to do
I need to get it back.
is
My Meraki's not
cacti. Yeah, this is the one I'm after.
This is how he relaxes.
You look at spikes on the graph, there's more spikes.
Okay. So the other one, this Mike really likes a lot. Smoke ping and cacti. So smoke ping gives you round trip time. You with me on that? How long it takes to get from this point to that point back to this point. Cacti uses SNMP, Simple Network
Transmission.
Management.
SM.
Yeah, SNMP. Just like smoke ping, this gives you, daily, hourly, monthly, yearly, whatever you want to do, and you can drill down. And green, I forgot. Green is inbound, and the hollow or the blue is outbound. So what you do is, on the MikroTik router, you can select specific ports, or you can monitor individual ports and graph the traffic. And if you have the one that links to Comcast, then you can graph the traffic that's going to and from Comcast. You with me on that? And that way I can see if I'm getting my 3 megabits. And really, the reality is, when I'm on a VoIP call, how much traffic is it really using? Is it really using 90K, like Vonage says? or over 3 megabytes like Comcast says. So when these clowns say, oh, sir, you need more than 3 megabits for a VoIP call, and when I say, what proof do you have? They go, well, everybody knows that. And I said, well, tell me why it says on Vonage that it only requires 90K. And she reads it and she says, oh, well, they must have made a mistake.
Hey, Doug.
Yeah.
So the clients that we're setting up on SonicNet for their VoIP,
Yeah.
they've got 30 lines, and we're set up on a 3 megabit SonicNet connection for their VoIP. All their voice traffic runs over it. It's all pegged to the Sonic line, and it runs on 3 megabit, and they don't ever have any issues.
And how many lines are in use simultaneously?
At any given time,
5?
No. They live on the phones.
10?
It is the call center. Their
Oh.
services. They've got probably between 15 and 20 lines in use at any given time.
Yeah, so I will tell you, there have been 2 techs from Comcast who have been helpful and really nice guys. And they come out here knowing everything. Yeah, like, I don't know, squat. And it takes a little bit of time. And I bring him into my house, I sit him down, give him some wine and cheese. No, I start talking about him, asking him questions. They give me information, so we're kind of going back and forth. They told me that they use Scout. It's NetScout, isn't it? They call it Scout, which is high level, it's industrial strength or large network, monitoring tool. They also use another tool that's really, really clever. And I don't know if you've seen it, but they have everybody's cable modem that's in an area or the equivalent of like a NOC. Can I say that? I don't know what terms the cable companies use. But like in my neighborhood, there were probably 500 or 800 different customers. And they're constantly monitoring those modems, is what he told me. And he can see on a map which modem's up, which one's down through his little, web interface thing. Kind of looks like Google Maps. It's not Google Maps, but something like Google Maps when you do Wi-Fi war driving. Okay, so you got all the little points, and they change colors. And he said that they get page alerts when 3 of them in a geographical area go offline. Then it's like, Russia's attacking. And so then that's their proactive. Robert, you got something.
Vonage on the adapter and 911 settings on your account.
Yeah.
You can actually adjust the bandwidth. The high quality is 90 kilobits. The low quality is 30 kilobits. So you can take it down to 30 kilobits and see what it does in there.
Oh, that's it. I'm getting too good a service.
Well, because they're different codecs, right? It's like 7
It's
dot
a simple
whatever.
thing that talks to your interface basically from your account, and it just says, okay,
Okay.
throttle bandwidth.
So this particular client that I was talking about, so
Yeah.
their total usage from their Polycoms for the day is 693 megabytes of data for today.
600 megabytes.
Yeah. Total.
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, this is...
For an 8-hour day.
I think
15
I think
phones
typically
for an 8-hour day.
a
It's an
T-Mobile
hour day.
connection should handle 20 voice lines. It's not
24
24.
or 23, 24. I forgot. I think it's 23 plus 1.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, this is the industry we're in, and this is where stuff's getting crazy. And I do forensic investigation work for a guy out of Dallas who's very, very good. So I'll give a commercial. Now, if you need forensic investigation, this guy's good. I help him out with cases out here. He's telling me that the cases that are on the rise right now are companies who are selling products or services, meaning computer, networking and stuff, and they're throwing this stuff in, not using best practices. And I'll give you the best one that I had. This is something that happened to me years ago. I went into a company who had purchased a Cisco, what's firewall? I forgot. Apex or ASA or PIC, it doesn't matter. They purchased a Cisco firewall, and they said, we're having problem. I forgot what the problem was. And they said, oh, well, you have a firewall here, but nobody set up any rules, right? It's any. And I said, that's equivalent of having no firewall at all. And their response was, no, I purchased a firewall, I'm protected. I mean, I understand the logic.
Here's the box.
Right, I paid $5,000 or whatever it was for the box plus the installation. I can see I've got a box here. I've got the firewall, so I've got to be protected, right? I mean, I don't know if you're running into that, but companies now, with this stuff getting more and more sophisticated, what my friend Dave was telling me is that the problem is now you've got companies that are buying services that don't really understand, like me from Comcast, right? And you got techs that are coming out that are not adhering to best practices. They're not adhering. It's pricing is what they're after and making money and getting in there and out of there as fast as possible. As a result, the companies are losing business, productivity, or whatever. So they're fed up and responding back and retaliating by suing.
Well, we really can't blame the techs for the Comcast issue. Their business model is to hire the least qualified.
Let me tell you, I make sure that and sometimes I swear at these people because I just can't help it. Now I've got Tourette's, right? Hold on. So, I tell them, because, Mike trained me well on networking. I teach networking at the community colleges. And when these people come up with these just ridiculous answers, it's like, what can you do but, kind of swear at them. And I tell them, sometimes I do, but, I always tell them, I say, look, this has nothing to do with you. You're very, obviously, you got a job, and this is the way the company you're working for treats you. This is not a reflection of you. It's the company and how they've trained you and what they are allowing you and not allowing you to do. And obviously, they don't care about you because they haven't trained you well enough.
So let's unionize them.
They are. In Oakland, Comcast is unionized. Contra Costa County, they're not. I learned that.
The franchise.
Oh, is that what it is? Can I get a Comcast franchise? Really?
Seems like you find a county that doesn't have a hold on it, which is kind of hard to do. You find a county, and you get the local government to sign over the wire rights.
So that's what Google's doing in like Google Kansas or whatever that deal. Yeah. Okay.
And a lot of the cable companies are trying to get the local local councils to have laws where they can't own their own cable.
Yeah.
So
So some cities own their own cable, and I someplace around here, isn't it? Where? San Bruno. I'm moving. No. Is San Bruno good service? Oh, you don't know. Yeah.
Just to even the score, I have a neighbor that has worked for AT&T answering a help desk for DSL for over 20 years. They told him his DSL modem was old, he had to update it. So he goes to the AT&T store, buys another one, brings it back. I said, well, what is it? Is it N? Is it G?
Yeah.
Is it? He had no idea what I was talking about. He answers the help desk questions. He had no idea. 2 weeks later, he had a problem. The technician came out, looked at the modem and said, oh, this is old technology, I'll give you a new one.
What are we doing, right? So I'll tell you, there's a woman, she was, this is about a 3-4-year-old story, she's like in her 70s, right? Comcast says, you need triple play. She wanted cable TV or something like that. So she was sold, Comcast triple play? Yeah, okay. So the tech comes out there, installs, rips out the Pac Bell equivalent or whoever the phone company is now. God, this is ridiculous. So they rip out the phone company, they give her cable TV, phone, and internet. And when the guy leaves, the TV doesn't work, which is really what she wants. So she calls up, the guy comes back or schedules an appointment for the next day, the guy doesn't show up. She's got to go to the doctor the following day. The guy shows up to connect the TV. He connects the TV and breaks the phone. Right, and then the next guy comes out, it's kind of the same story. So, here she is, 75 years old or whatever. She's so frustrated, and this was Comcast. She goes down to the Comcast store, and she said, I want to speak to the manager. And they said, well, the manager's in a meeting, in the back room there. And she said, okay, I'll wait. And they said, well, you can't wait in the store. You got to wait outside in the parking lot, where this is in the morning, 80 degrees. I don't know where this was. So she checks back in, right? And they said, well, he's still in the meeting. Go wait in your car. It's 100 degrees outside. She's baking in her car. She goes back in, right? And she sees that the manager or the guy slipped out the back door for lunch. And she had waited like 2.5 hours. So she goes home. She comes back. She brings a hammer, starts going on all the keyboards and breaking all the keyboards inside. Comcast calls the police. They arrest, 75-year-old woman. She gets hauled in before the judge. She tells the story. And the judge said, I would have done that too. I think she had to pay $1 fine or something like that. I mean, God, this is just absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? Or am I crazy? Okay, yeah, well, we knew that.
So do we know the useful part? Good technology to talk about? Windows 10, Server 2016, anything like that?
Okay, so
Comcast sucks.
I can now tell you about this stuff. The conference call that... End of story. No, that was my conference call that was on. So luckily there was a repeat conference call like later in the afternoon and the evening. And so between the two, I was able to piece enough together because I kept dropping off of both of them. Thank you, Comcast. So what's going on right now is Server 2016, right? Yeah, oh yeah. You don't like my Comcast story. Well, I had to get the connectivity going so I could tell you the story. Okay. So, so Microsoft 2016 Technical Preview 3 is out right now, and it's kind of interesting because one of the things that they've offered is now containers. And we've been talking a little bit about this, and this is a big deal because containers are virtualization in a virtualized environment that you can virtualize.
VVol.
What?
VVol. VVOL. It's the VMware's got the same.
Yeah, VMware has it. So Microsoft is partnered with Docker. You can use Docker, just like VMware can use Docker. But Microsoft also has, I can't remember, do you know? It's called Microsoft, Windows Container Virtualization, I think is what they're calling it right now. So container virtualization allows you to create an app in a virtualized environment and then hand it to somebody else. And it could be as small as a little app like a menuing system or a payment system, or it could be a SQL database, or it could be server. And you can hand that container, or that virtualized container, or that container that's been virtualized, you can scale it up, but you can hand it to somebody else that's running a virtualized environment that's on a Linux box or an Apple box or an AWS or an Azure. So the whole idea about this is we have transportability, and it no longer matters really what the underlying operating system is. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think VMware is also doing this.
VMware is, and they partner with Docker, that VMware can't do what Microsoft is doing because they don't have applications, right? So
They do if you stay in the VMware environment. You can't hand it off anywhere.
Yeah, go to the VMware store, right? And what do they got? The 89 DOS names or something like that? So I'm telling you, start looking at this whole container thing and where containers are going, because the whole idea behind it is you can create an app that's in your private cloud, and then company says, we're going to public cloud. And you can go, great, pick it up, move it up there, and poof, you're done. And I'm done. Your turn? Do you have a question?
A question.
Yeah, we'll switch.
About Windows 2010.
Yeah.
Or about Windows 10. Was wondering if has there been any talk of Microsoft actually backing away from the amount of information that they've allowed themselves to suck out? Because I've seen a lot of some of the community or in the news, and I've had some complaints from some users about how much data is already flowing out of the new Cloud OS Windows 10, and how much Microsoft has allowed themselves to be privy to, which is basically everything on your system. So, and how hard it is to turn that stuff off.
It is hard to turn off. Susan Bradley is doing a trace, Wireshark trace, to see what happens with activation. So, we've done away kind of with the product keys, and the product keys are residing in the cloud.
Or the BIOS.
No.
Windows 10,
In Windows 10, they're more or less in the cloud. So that's why you're no longer asked for a key for activation. What happens is Microsoft knows, based on some secret sauce, like your MAC address, hard drive size, some GUIDs or some crud that's all in there, it's in your hardware, so that next time you go online, all of a sudden you'll have an unactivated machine 2 or 3 days later, it is then activated.
It's weird, it even happens on virtual machines.
Yeah, it happens, well.
Though if you get your virtual machine through Azure, it's already paid for.
Oh.
I discovered
this.
this.
What if you upgrade your hardware?
Yeah.
So
Then
here's
you
my
have-
Windows 10 machine.
Then you have to reactivate.
Well, that's what I was thinking about the virtual machine is, reallocate the hard drive size or give it more cores or whatever.
That's my concern. Or when I upgrade my desktop, I move my VMs over to a new version of VMware.
Exactly.
I'm thinking I might be screwed.
Different version.
Well, yeah, so we'll see. Let us know next month.
Think old school. He was building a new physical box. I don't use the legal license that I bought on that one. Shut that machine down.
Well, but how do you do that?
Your Microsoft account should be tied.
Well,
theory.
That's okay. Is it tied to one machine? I manage a bunch of machines, but I don't use my Microsoft account.
So I got to tell you, everybody made fun of Windows 8. I did too. For the first week that I used it.
I'm not even making fun of it.
Wait, so Microsoft, in my mind, did the worst way of marketing. They should have given away 2 Windows 8 boxes to everybody. Because once you had one device, you set up everything, you configured it, and then you went over to the next Windows 8 box, which is what I did at TechEd. I had a Surface Pro and I had a Surface RT, and as soon as I booted up the other one, it said, wait a minute. It was like 20 minutes later, I'm thinking, crap, I got to set up email, I got to do documents, I got to do some apps. All of a sudden, poof, 20 minutes later, everything is there, and I'm getting all the emails flying in. And it's like, wow, this is great, I get it.
Isn't it great the way it works with Windows 10?
What?
Isn't it great the way that works with Windows 10?
Oh, I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still on Windows 8.5.
Well, it doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't? No. Oh, they'll fix it.
Mine works.
Well, yours works.
Who's running Windows 10 in the room? Okay, like a third.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but I have to say, I tried 3 installs. Mine went flawlessly, and the other 2,
Not so much.
not so much.
So for the other 2, were you notified that the install was ready?
Yes,
Okay.
and I tried to do it.
Okay, I won't answer that. Next question. No, I don't know what some people are having flawless installs. Others, it's been a nightmare.
So I said this 10 years ago.
Yep.
We need to agree on a standard Linux desktop, like Ubuntu or whatever, rather than the 50 that are out there right now. Once we agree on that, we'll give the whole desktop market a little competition, and then we'll start to see some improvements. But as long as there's a monopoly in place, you guys are going to have.
What's the monopoly?
Microsoft's desktop.
How is that a monopoly?
You got any other options out there? There's 50.
OS X and Ubuntu.
You got OS X, you got Linux, you got FreeBSD, you got phones.
No, you don't, because all these different desktops out there, they're very underfunded. There's 50 of them, and every month there's a new one. And
Oh, well, now we're complaining about, you want PIC DOS?
Yeah. Well, how many people even know what Canonical is in this room?
Well, you brought up Ubuntu.
Exactly, my point.
What's wrong with Ubuntu? You know, customers are speaking. If they like Ubuntu better, let them go out and
I
pay for
tried for 2
Ubuntu.
hours at the Intel IDF show, trying to get it to work, and the desktop didn't get it to work.
Right, so does Windows work?
Because it wouldn't work because they don't have the drivers out for Windows 10 yet.
So complain to the programmers. You know,
It's a
Microsoft,
community problem.
Ubuntu does not have the drivers for Windows 10.
Yeah, that's why it wouldn't work.
To dual boot.
I was with the Ubuntu people and I tried to get it through.
well, why would you do that? Look, you got the perfect solution. Use Docker in a container. Problem solved.
I like it.
What? What? You're making fun of me?
I'm making fun of desktops.
Oh. I mean, look, you know, this whole thing with desktops, it's all changing.
Copies of my slides.
Am I taking your time or are you ready to
No,
go?
I can go whenever.
You can go now. How's that? I'll get out of your way. So anyway, that's been my experience with Comcast. Thank you for the therapy session. Let me pay $150. Thank you. And I will tell you, if Jessica doesn't have a full hour next month, she's going to do monitoring of Linux boxes. Either next month, I'll tell you where we are with Smoke Painting and Cacti with Mike, and I'll try and bring this up, or it'll be the month after. Okay, we're also looking for topics of things to go for November timeframe, so we're good through October. Thanks. Oh, smoke, yeah. All right, take it away. Your shot. Let me get through your bag. What? Oh, yeah. If you get speakers, we get food. No speakers, no food.
So I'm Christine. I'm the Office 365 princess.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm the only woman I know, or one of the few women at Microsoft who teaches how to build apps with Office. And so I know you guys aren't developers particularly, but we're going to do a little bit of development. So I know we talked about earlier how long you want me to talk. So I'm going to give you 3 options.
Just
5
keep
minutes,
going.
5 minutes, half an hour, or an hour? Half hour? Okay, raise your hand for 5 minutes.
We're doing the half hour.
Doing the half
Go.
hour, go, okay.
This is a democracy.
This is my Twitter if you guys tweet. This is my email address. I don't have business cards. Sorry. You guys have cell phones, right? Take out your cell phone, take a picture. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to talk about, we get an overview of the Office 365 development platform, kind of what Office 365 is. Who's using Office 365? Cool. Who's running Office 2013? Okay, if you did not raise your hand in either 2 of those, this is not relevant to you. You should upgrade your system.
So, Chrissy, are you going to do APIs?
I have 3 slides on APIs.
Oh, okay, good, because I would do add-ins.
Yeah. So I have.
okay.
That's why I put it first. 'cause
Okay,
it's 3
okay,
slides.
go for it.
And then I have add-ins, which is like 8 slides, and then I have tools and resources, which is like 2 slides. And if you want these, come talk to me afterwards, and I'll throw them online.
Back up for 1 second.
Yeah. Oh, so you can take a picture.
Yeah,
Sorry.
you suggested we grab a snap and then you immediately change the spot.
I did. Just to make your life harder. I do work with Janelle. She and I share manager. Yeah. Yes, if you tell me where to post them, I will post them. Or I'll post them on my my blog, and I'll send out a link.
Thing called OneDrive. Can you put in there?
I put them there.
Apparently, you can share OneDrive now, but not with Windows 8.1. That's how that works.
That's what the browser is for. Download Edge for your Windows 8 machine and play with it there. Or download it. I think we have Edge for other platforms now.
Is it Edge for 8.1?
Yeah.
What is it?
So much faster than Chrome. I grew up on Chrome, and I was like, Chrome was my thing, and then Edge is so much faster. I can't wait till it supports add-ins, and I can have have AdBlock Plus, which would be great. So Office 365, one of the growing businesses of Microsoft, basically makes all of our money. I get paid my salary, I'm pretty sure. You're not paying for Windows anymore, and you're not paying, I don't know, what else do we get for free? A lot of storage for free, so this is where we make our money. Fastest growing, everybody's using it. Everybody, I should have brought up pointers or clickers.
And I was looking the clicker for you.
It's okay.
Is that Satya?
That's Satya. This was at one of our more recent conferences. He was at Ignite in Chicago or maybe was it Build? It was either Build or Ignite in the spring. So we really project a lot of developers building cool apps. Is anybody using any fun add-ins in Office already? Great! I can educate you on all my favorite ones. So this is what I teach people how to do. I ran 12 one-day developer camps across the country last spring, teaching people how to build add-ins. This is the current status of the developer market. So we started with 3 million SharePoint developers, which is kind of a lot. Like I'm not a SharePoint developer yet. If you guys are SharePoint developers and want to tell me how much you love SharePoint, I'd love to be enlightened about SharePoint. We do have over 1,000 apps in the store for your Office 365 products. A third of them are paid, make a good amount of money. One of my favorite ones is Pull Everywhere. We'll all play with a little bit later, and we'll all vote on the best color, on our favorite colors, and it's in PowerPoint. 400 plus petabytes of data in OneDrive, so look how much information we're gathering and collecting and protecting for you. And you guys have, and one of the cool things is that the add-ins will show soon work cross-platform. So if you've got an Android phone and an iOS phone, you actually got the better versions of Office. So you may notice if you have an Android or an iOS phone, an Apple device, and then you have a Windows phone, you'll notice that the Word on your iOS device is way better than Word on your Windows phone. That's how we prioritize it, because we know most people are using iOS devices, and so we want to make their experience better. Getting my steps in. This is awesome.
Do you have one of those Fit Band things?
I have a Microsoft band.
Oh!
Okay, my favorite thing about the Microsoft band is that it tells me when I'm about to sunburn. I don't know if anybody else has one or sunburns easily, but it reminds me to put on sunscreen. It's my favorite part of it. It's not the workouts, it's not the meeting reminders, it's not the email. It's the, hey Christine, you're about to get sunburned.
But does it work when it's facing the inside?
It does.
Oh.
So I'm sitting outside for lunch, eating lunch with my coworkers, and after 20 minutes I started to sunburn. And so it vibrates at me like, Christine, you need to reapply your sunscreen.
Wait, since we're off topic, do you know about the new Fitbit one? It's got a little zapper. So if you're running, I kid you not, if you're running too slow, if your stride's too slow, you get a little bzzz, right?
That's great.
It also, if you decide not to exercise one morning, it automatically posts to your Facebook, Doug didn't exercise this morning, or Doug was a slacker, didn't do enough. You brought that up.
I plan on phone, yeah.
Oh, the Fitbit. Oh, what a wearable.
Okay,
Sorry.
so historically we've got VBA scripts, we've got VSTO, Visual Studio Tools for Office, a little bit before my time, but you guys have probably played with that. My mom's like, how do you do a macro? And I'm like, I have no idea, but I can build an add-in. So we've moved past that a little bit, and now we're moving towards our cloud and devices, building once for everywhere. Everything we're building now is HTML5 and JavaScript, and we want to match everybody's open standard in the SDKs. Okay. The opportunity, if you are an app developer, are there any app developers in the room?
No.
I got like 2. This is how much money you can make, and this is why. That was pretty. Bridge platform, it's everywhere. I don't know if we have Office for Linux, but we have Office everywhere else. And we have it in the cloud, so as long as you can connect to the internet, you have Office. And so the Office add-ins that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, you can use everywhere. So this is our beautiful Office platform. When we talk about the Office platform to developers, this is what we really talk about. These are probably what you guys are your favorite things, maybe.
What's what?
Delve is one of the best things ever. Kind of, so I think it's one of the best things ever. Chris might hate it, but it's everybody's public OneDrive files. It kind of is able to see what are the popular ones. So I might see on my team, you know, the status reports of the monthly status reports are trending right now. Or if like, hey, I'm like, I have to give a presentation on HoloLens next week. I I don't feel like writing the slides, I just go search all of Microsoft on Dell and find all the public slides that people posted on HoloLens, and then pull them and then make my own presentations. So it's kind of a creepy way to access everybody in your company's public files. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's access?
Where's access? You cannot.
You don't need no stinking access.
I don't know if we have released a 2016 version for access. Maybe we have.
Anybody use access anymore?
Yes.
Okay.
There are no add-ins for access. I'm sorry you feel left out. Write your own.
SQL.
It's not the database, it's the front end, it's everything else.
Okay.
So what about
You can't build add-ins either.
what about Sway?
Sway is, we can look at that in a minute.
Ooh.
Sway is, it's, like, does anybody make like, trip reports or event reports? Like they go to a conference and people are like, hey, what did you learn at the conference or what did you do? No, can you imagine you had to do that? Yes. Okay, so what it does is you upload all your pictures and like pieces of information and makes a pretty a pretty web page explaining what you did. So everybody has access to Sway. If you have a laptop right now, you can Bing search Sway, and you can create your own Sways. And instead of writing trip reports, we create Sways because they're kind of fun. They're called Sways. Because things can move. You can embed videos. A whole bunch of that. Yammer, we can build add-ins for the video portal for SharePoint.
Have you used the receipt tool? Do you know what that? I forgot what it's called.
In OneNote?
No, in just part of Office. There's an add-in for receipts. And anybody know? And name's escaping me. It came out at the same time Sway did.
Does it load into a bookkeeping system?
Well,
Office Lens.
Lens, yes.
Yeah, Office Lens is pretty cool. It's an app for your phone, and it's a lot of optical character recognition. And it can,
Have you used it? Or?
yeah, so I use it for all my expense reports.
Yeah, does it work?
Yes.
Good?
But where do you go with it on the back end? You go into like...
So it's in my OneNote as all the text, and then I just paste that into my expense report.
Okay, but if you're an independent contractor, it's very important. You want to be able to load this into some sort of bookkeeping system.
You can set it up.
QuickBooks or something like that?
You can set it up to put it into Excel.
Okay.
I've never.
Okay, well, if you can do that, then you can get it to QuickBooks or whatever.
Yeah.
So I
okay.
play with it. I've never.
So if you can go to Excel, you can go to column separated value, you can set it into
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds good.
So you link that to a product called TripLog, and now you've got your mileage and your expenses all accounted for, and you don't have to do it by hand.
Whatever happened to Expensible? That was from QuickBooks for expenses.
Okay.
Well, Microsoft
I'm gonna keep moving.
Microsoft ran out of money.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever watched the Ig Nobel Awards? Listen to
Is
that?
that on?
It's on like I listen to them on NPR, and like after you've talked for a certain amount of time, like there's a little kid that says, "Please stop! I'm bored," and they just repeat it until they get off the stage.
You know what the winners get? Last year they started giving away, was it $100 billion? Zimbabwe dollars.
This is my first slide on Office 365 APIs. This is my second one. They're designed for openness, and our REST APIs are the standard protocols. You know, if you can call the Flickr API, you can call one API, you can call them all. What you probably really care about is what you can access with the APIs. Users and groups. So one of my favorite things you can do with the API is you can find like a file. So with files, be like, okay, find this file, and who is the last person who edited it? And then you can make the call, who's that person's manager? So you could say, okay, who is the last person that edited this file? List their manager next to it. And then like if they mess up a file, you have their manager immediately. So you guys don't find that entertaining as I do, but I find it really entertaining. Mail, so if you want to read mail, if you want to create your own Outlook client, you can do that. Calendar, so I'm working with 1-800-Flowers, that they're going to have an app out soon in the Outlook store, where if it says birthday, anniversary, and other things like that in a calendar appointment, it'll be like, hey, this is coming coming up. Do you want to send them flowers? Here's a discount coupon. And then you can send it right from within the Outlook calendar appointment. So I think that'll be really cool when it comes out. And then contacts, you guys can figure out why you'd want to access contacts. That's all my overview of the APIs.
Are you gonna link to Waze? Because Waze does that right now.
Waze, like the traffic people?
Yeah. Really? Yeah. Why would they choose?
Why would they link to files?
Because when you're going by somebody's house, they don't have parking, so they let you know.
Oh. No.
So anybody want to work on the Ashley Madison, adding for contacts?
That would be terrible. Jake, I don't think that would.
Wasn't it something like 1,000 women and like 20 million guys?
Yeah, something like that. It's like 1% or something. Yeah, just, pop up when someone emails you that they were on Ashley Madison. That would be certainly entertaining. I don't think I'd want to know if, my manager was there. Would you really want to know?
What if you got linked up with your manager?
That would be terrible.
Let's continue this slide, and we can see where this is going.
I lied, there was a fourth slide. Here's another picture of what you can access. An Active Directory. But take a note, the OneDrive, if you want to access anything with the OneDrive API, it only counts for OneDrive for Business at the moment. We have not yet done it for OneDrive for the public, because OneDrive for Business is basically a pretty version of SharePoint, which is why it works.
But the plan is eventually to open up to Google Drive or other.
Well, not Google Drive, because this is Microsoft. These are APIs, and so what you can do is if you have an app, and your app wants to be able to access your users' files, you can say, pull in the OneDrive files using the Microsoft OneDrive API. So let's say I have a Pictures app and I pull the pictures to OneDrive or save to OneDrive. But
I understand, but there's all these cloud drive companies coming out.
Yeah.
Those guys will have their own interface.
Exactly. Okay. And then here's a couple examples of them being used. So does anybody use, I think it's Zapier? So it's a kind of cool website. So I don't actually use it, but a bunch of my colleagues use it. There's a lot of them who use CRM. And so when you get a contact, when you get a new email with something in the subject, you add it to CRM, or maybe you add a new email to OneNote. And so I'd recommend checking it out if you feel like it, or not. This is the one I use, If This Then That. Does anybody use If This Then That? So this uses the Office 365 APIs. And so every time my manager emails me, or my manager's manager emails me directly, I get a text message. Because I only turn it on when I'm working from home. Because then I'm like, oh, I should go check my email instead of sitting on the patio with a glass of wine or something.
So you set up as a rule?
Yeah.
So an email comes in, you get an SMS message?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Basically, okay.
Based on that.
Or
Just prior to sundown.
Yeah.
That's a good, but yet horrible example, because you can actually do that natively in Office or in Outlook web app.
Okay, yes.
But it's a good, but
If I get an email and I wanted to tweet it, I could tweet my email. I don't know if you really want to tweet your emails. That might not be a good idea, but you could do that, or post it to Facebook.
So we could set up a tweet for all Doug's emails to Comcast.
That would be great. For yours on Outlook?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that terminology of this?
I don't know. Kind of like a recipe when you're cooking.
Use the ID to identify.
What you add the Outlook part, and you add the SMS part, and it's a recipe, and then you bake it. I'm just making this up. I have no idea. But this is why they pay me to run around in the tiara. So, but I do love If This Then That. Every time I post something to Facebook, I post it to Twitter and backwards, and this is just my shameless plug for them because they make my life so much easier.
And that's cloud only, right?
Yes. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to talk about add-ins because these are my favorite parts. This is where my passion is. If anybody's going to Silicon Valley Code Camp in October, the first weekend in October, we're giving a whole talk on how to build add-ins. This is a preview, and this is more consumer and how you use them, Christine's favorite ones, instead of We are going to build one about puppies because I love puppies. You guys should all love puppies. So we can build them currently for Excel, Outlook, PowerPoint, Project, SharePoint, and Word. Yes.
These are apps for what? Is this the desktop thing?
Yes. So we're almost there. Okay. Apps for Office. This is what they look like. If you've used them before, which it sounded like no one had, they're kind of built in the context. And so this is another like Microsoft can see what you're doing kind of. So Outlook and Outlook web apps, so it works on both the desktop and in the cloud. We're soon coming to phones. So maybe this is the one thing like letting your flowers or read your appointments. Or I'll show you the LinkedIn one in a minute, and it's one of my favorites because it reads the email addresses in your email, and then scans the LinkedIn for them, and so you can see who's emailing you. Or like, is this person important? Nope, let's not read this email. Or maybe like, do I want to work for this recruiter who emailed you about a job, and you can look at them on LinkedIn. Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Project. Word, and you got the Wikipedia app. So imagine you're in college today, and you have to write an essay about, the Civil War. And you don't really feel like doing all the research immediately, so you can search for Civil War on the Wikipedia box on the right side, and then copy it, and it'll paste it in your essay, and then you can go and speak all the words. It's all research. And then Excel and PowerPoint. Excel is a really good one for visualizing data. So let's say you've got locations of places and numbers. So I'm running a robotics competition across the U.S. and I've got 100,000 kids competing building robots, working on and I want to kind of visualize where the teams are. So I just kind of all the spreadsheets and I create a chart, and I'll show you how that works. Yeah.
Those edits are embedded in PowerPoint.
Yeah.
Irrational items.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, is all the processing handled out of the cloud?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't have to be. You can do them offline. Like they can be. So it's HTML and JavaScript.
Okay, so it's HTML offline, and then online it replicates to the server source. So some stability seems to be built in.
Yeah, I haven't had any crash at all.
It was a different world 10 years ago.
No. Like unless I've had a crash if you like forget a semicolon. Like then it typically crashes, or if you forget like one of the what do you call these? Like the ones that look like this. I don't know, the triangular sideways ones.
Oh, greater.
Yeah.
Than.
Yeah, the greater than or less than symbols. If I forget one of those in my HTML, it typically crashes. But that makes sense. So this is our vision for add-ins. So this is an Outlook. You got it at the top. It works as well on tablets. It's over here. So it's responsive design, and then working on phone as well. This is a LinkedIn one. We'll look at. I don't know.
Good answer.
Sorry.
I'm too young to know.
I have a lack of historical perspective, but I'm very excited to learn about the future. So we're gonna look at task chain apps. So one of them is this one's called Lucidchart. It'll make fun charts. So this is the March Madness bracket. If you wanted to do a in-house competition with your colleagues, you will make charts and we'll play with them. And I'm done walking you through these.
So is that a pay? Do you have to buy it?
I don't know. I never use it. Like, it's one of the ones on the example slides. So I show it, but I don't actually use it. This is the Bing search, news search. If you're working on that research paper and you need to find relevant news articles, instead of going and searching, you have it right built within Word.
How about long legal citations? Is that going to be something that's going to happen?
I've never looked.
That's probably the most important uses of his contracts and citations.
We can go look in a minute.
Can you have a custom library?
Can you have a custom library? Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm listening
You should be able to. And then Merriam-Webster, you want to look up a definition if you don't like the Office definitions and you want the full definition, that's in the task manual. I'm just gonna give over a quick overview, and then we're gonna do Christine's favorite top 5 apps. Yeah.
So have you done any market research to see if any users really want to build their own apps?
End users do not want to build them, but we have a lot of companies. So like, one of our most popular ones is DocuSign, and so DocuSign is a really, really popular add-in for Word because it does all the legal documents and all the signing all virtually, and it's built into Word, Excel, and Outlook. So it's all taken care of. You send it all. Like you've got.
And that whole contract was done by President Clinton in 1995.
What was?
The whole electronic signature process that was legalized in 1995.
Wow.
You still have to send your paper to the government whenever they want to stop that thing out. It's been legal for 20 years.
So really, end users aren't going to develop this. This is more like an app store.
So I've developed
People are going to develop and try and sell them to you for 99 cents or whatever, and it'll be cool stuff.
Yeah. So 2/3 of them are free. I'd say 1/3 of them. You guys remember the beginning Windows 8 days when we wanted people to build Windows 8 apps? Does anybody remember those days?
Yeah, the 8,000 flashlight apps.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we're facing a little bit. And so they're getting better. This is the Bing Maps one I was talking about, where you just put in locations and data, and it'll make pretty charts. I'm sure you guys can find use for this, right? Maybe. This is one of my favorites.
That's the Geo plugin for Excel.
That's the Bing Maps one. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll look at it.
Yeah, that's.
This is a visualization, so if you have numbers and it's kind of like a people one, but it only looks like this. It's not my favorite. But it looks kind of cool if you have to just like sell to marketing people. Like you have to convince marketing people they want something. You give them a pretty chart, they're a lot happier. Yeah. So, and this is another bubble chart. This is one we like to use a lot when visualizing, comparing different relevant things. So, you know, Seattle has this many people, and Chicago's has less people, and you know, bubbles. What? Oh, in the app? One of my challenges this month was to get everybody, or August was to get everybody a picture of my team in a tiara. There's 78 of us, and if I did, my boss's boss would wear a tiara for 3 days and our whole team's offsite.
That's crazy. I can look at him.
I succeeded. I will show you the tiara he's wearing. Has anybody seen Wizard of Oz? Yeah. You guys know Wizard of Oz? You know the giant Glinda tiara? Yeah, that one. I promise I'm an adult. Like I am over 21. So this is the LinkedIn app. So this random guy emailed. Well, he emailed himself. But Sabora is not in LinkedIn. Go look at mine and stalk my random emails. Package tracker. Okay, who gets the packages from Amazon every day? I get packages from Amazon every day, and I'm like, where is my package? Why isn't it here yet? Even though they're all 2-day shipping prime. So when they email me, I just click on the email and be like, okay, it's still in Sunnyvale. It should be in Mountain View by 10 a.m. because that's when UPS arrives. So I use this a lot. But you're not, it's like sometimes I order a tiara and it's not here yet, and I'm wondering where it is. So this is one of the things I use it for.
So when Amazon emails you, instead of clicking on the link, does it just appear?
Is it?
So the tracking information.
Yeah, so you have to click on the tab and I'll show you.
So it's the same thing as clicking on the link that gives you a link to the tracking.
So nothing pops up because you just click on it within the email.
Oh, I see. It's another tab.
It's another tab.
Made a web. That's the space you're sitting in right now. Basically,
Yeah.
the old VBA backend.
Yeah, got it.
And then this is a templates one. So if you this week I went to Puerto Rico for 2 weeks and I helped a lot of the teams there set up some stuff. And so we use this in a lot of their tech support, and like they're doing password resets all day. And so anytime someone asks for a password reset in an email, it popped up with my templates and it popped up the password reset stuff, and we put it in automatically. So that if you do a lot of the same emails every day, that might be a good use for my templates. Because sometimes you're like, why did you email that? I need to let me Google that for you add-in. I think it's my next add-in. And just every time somebody asks me a silly question, you've used it? You would use it? Okay. Yeah. Like anytime somebody asks you a silly question, just respond with the let me Google that for you link with the question. Like it'd be awesome. Okay. Now we're gonna go over Christine's favorite add-ins. We're gonna start with this one. Oh, there's the puppies, but we're not doing the puppies yet. Okay. Hold on. Why are you being a butt? Okay, well this normally works. We're gonna do it the hard way. This is a pull everywhere. Opens. Sorry, I upgraded my office and I'm running the beta version and it's not always I did.
Who knows where the rock is?
The rock?
That rock.
It's a standard Windows background. They got rid of the.
Yeah, but I found it.
Somebody bang it.
I found the hill from the previous.
Isn't the hill in like Sonoma or something?
Yes, the real hill. It was retouched, but it's from Sonoma.
So now it's a great vineyard.
Okay.
The hill.
Yeah, probably has.
The Windows XP Hill.
Okay.
The Meadow, the Bliss.
Yeah.
This is my favorite add-in. It's called Pull Everywhere. And whenever I'm in giant crowds like this, I'm like, okay, I need you guys your help to test this. So, who has a laptop? If you have a laptop, you go to the first link. Who has a cell phone? Okay, I know all of you have a cell phone because, come on. And then if you are not a cell phone person, if you don't like texting, you can tweet me.
It would have to be capital letters.
No. I'm more of a tweet person. Can you tweet yourself? Yes, we do.
Well, this is going to put a couple companies out of business.
Yeah?
In education, because they have these little clickers.
All those, you don't have to worry about working.
It's really expensive though. It's like $100 a year. Which I think is expensive, but
It's not for an institution.
Oh, this is great.
Is anybody sending it in? Because it's
What a feature.
I did. It says I've joined.
Man updates his PC to Windows 10, only for his wife to find his entire porn collection is now a slideshow.
Lock screen.
Oh, a lock screen. I didn't see that. Imagine that in some corporation.
It's not working?
It worked for me tonight.
Okay, and then you have the text in the letter.
I did.
And it didn't work?
Refresh.
Okay. Well, when this works, it's really cool.
Next month it'll work.
Is this supposed to be like, what was that TV show?
It's live. It's supposed to be live.
We'll go back now.
Yeah, it's not that live.
Sorry. Forgive
It's
me.
okay.
You can try it on your own line.
Is the letter a separate text?
Yes.
Okay.
It says you haven't opened a poll yet.
No, I got it.
Yeah, it
Oh, here we
says.
go. Hold on. We're just gonna.
It says.
Don't pay any attention.
Christine math meeting session.
My PowerPoint is frozen.
Replace the words.
See, it's working. Just not when I'm in presentation mode today. But in general, it works. It's really cool. I love doing it. It's. I also, one of the things I make when I give events is I make people do stretches with me. And sometimes the stretches turn into hokey pokey, so you guys are pretty lucky tonight.
There's 60 people in here and only 6.
It might be frozen. I'm not exactly sure. Hold on.
It says you haven't presented a poll.
Okay. Wow, you get the idea, right?
Yeah, we'll
You
get
guys get the idea. Okay. Let's go look at Christine's Outlook. Let's go find an email that's safe for everybody's eyes. And then let me pull out. I should have pulled this up ahead of time. Sorry. There's no top secret. They won't let me. top secret because they're worried we can't keep secrets.
Because that's what they do with
I know. It's so sad.
Why didn't they only give you one computer, so all the
I
secret?
have a Lenovo.
They don't say you only can use this one for presentations.
But my excellent carbon, I flew my drone into it, so it survived very well.
You did what?
I flew my drone into it.
So,
I wish. My last year, one of my projects is play hide and go seek with a Sphero robot that like softballs.
Yeah.
You can drive them around, and an AR drone. And so they play hide and go seek together. Well, it was more of the drone searching for the ball and the ball trying to hide. So that was one of my projects, and it was not great. I wrote some of the code wrong, and so when I thought I was flying the drone away from me, I was flying it into my laptop. Okay, look at Excel.
that's what happens when you miss the punctuation.
Okay, so who's on vacation this summer? Did anybody go on vacation this summer?
Yes.
Where'd you go?
Beach.
What beach? Like what city?
Arizona Beach, Delaware.
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 And then here to Scottsdale, is that what I heard?
There's one's a city, one's a state.
It's okay, it'll be fine.
Scottsdale's better for the beach. Nashville.
I know Doug's house will show up, but he's in Wilbur Creek, right?
No, he lives on Orinda.
Close enough.
Orinda does not have a beach.
I went to Pescadero.
It's got several.
Okay, and then I went to Pescadero for, hold on, 10 days. I think we went, you were in Orinda for what, 90 days of the summer,
Yeah.
probably. Nashville, when you go home,
I was there a day.
1 day. Santa Cruz, you go for 4 days. Scottsdale, you probably spent 25 days there.
What? In Scottsdale, it's too freaking hot to stay there.
Scottsdale,
6 hours.
Yeah, you get to play, get golf, and you're out there.
1.5 days. Delaware, I want to run Delaware. 7 days. Okay, let's go map our vacation.
That's a lie.
Yes.
That's a lie.
I should really do this. Okay, and then we'll go over to insert. And this is how you can do it on all your favorite computers. And then you can go to store. You can find your favorite add-in here. So yeah, it's a store. These are called add-ins. Just FYI, they were once apps, and now they're add-ins because they're not allowed to be called apps anymore. So they're called add-ins. The iOS store wouldn't let us put add-ins in apps, or wouldn't let us put apps within apps in the iOS store.
Apps with an app.
So these are apps, and they run within Excel. So if I go back,
Stop getting the news for the office for the iOS for.
Yeah, what happens?
These are like sophisticated macros.
so here's the big one in a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And then I can close this. And then over here. Come on. Okay. Alright. It should let me renew that. I should have done with puppies. I know, but it said insert sample data. I didn't want to do that. So this might be getting off this 2016 bug. No, we're done. Okay, well. Let's see, insert this. Let's keep it one thing up one. And then insert sample data, sure. I know. That'd be great. So, here's the sample data visualized. Get the idea. It doesn't want to cooperate. I messed, like a demo gods are tired of me today. Didn't make enough sacrifices? Blood sacrifice. I gave blood today.
The demo guy did a blood sacrifice. You play with more.
Like in my keyboard. Do you know if Surface keyboards are washable?
Let us know next month.
Can I stick it in the dishwasher?
Sure.
Keyboards.
So if I want to insert an app in Word, we'll go to insert. Where do you guys think I go next? Store. Yeah. Okay. Store. that would make writing all your research papers?
Yeah, cut and paste.
Yeah.
But doesn't it give you everything in Wikipedia?
Yeah.
In the article?
Yeah, but it formats it nicely.
But no, the one is to make it look like you didn't plagiarize, right?
Yeah. You right click synonyms.
Oh, okay. Oh, another app.
It's already
Another app in. No, automatic synonyms. Oh, I see. So it's over there. I got it. Yeah.
And then you say, insert this in your essay. And they insert it in your essay.
I mean, almost the source, except it's not very specific.
But if I highlighted something that was an actual quote, it would add it. And so, add the original author, and then you say insert bibliography, and it gets a little bibliography.
That's nice.
That's
great.
So,
I would show you the Outlook ones. They're pretty awesome. I love the LinkedIn ones. And that I was going to show you how to build one, but it sounds like people are ready to go home.
no, we don't have builders.
You're not builders. It's not even about puppies. Look, where's my puppy one?
So, but wait, is there more?
That's it. This is my last one. Add-ins are doable. I got my grandmother to build one with me.
So when you write it?
JavaScript and HTML.
Oh.
Basic web page.
Okay.
So this one, all it does is it selects the thing in Excel. And then it searches Flickr for it. And then there's puppies. That's it. It's really simple. It's my go-to. And people are like, I can't code. And I'm like, yes you can. Let's build an add-in about puppies. And this is really not useful, I don't think. Like, you can tell me that's useful, that'd be great. But part of my job as a developer evangelist is I don't have to build useful things. I just build fun things. Like drones that chase sparrows are not useful. But they're fun. And exactly. Excel add-ins about puppies. So that is my Christine's fun run through of Office add-ins. I'll upload the slides to OneDrive and send out the link. Thanks for listening. You're very cool. Yes, it's the next slide. There's a link. Yeah, and then if you click on this, it'll take you to the website. But I'll put the directions in there too. The last few things are resources on how to build things. But you guys don't really want to build things. Oh, this is a fun one. Where? Sorry. This is the roadmap of how much is built yet. So the add-ins work on iPad in Excel. So if you build an add-in in Excel, it works on the iPad. And soon coming are add-ins for Outlook, Word, and PowerPoint on the iPad. And then iPhone is coming, and then Mac is after that. Android is after that, and Windows is last. Yes, but the iOS space pays more money for their apps. Yeah.
Majority of the Android people are $25
phone months.
Apple presumably works tracking the Android's about a 9%.
Yeah. I don't make the business decisions. I'm just informed about that.
I heard Microsoft would buy that.
By what?
I heard Microsoft would buy that on 90%.
Maybe.
I think iOS developers make more money off their apps than
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoy dinner. I'll be here. I'm here like one day a
Just
week.
is that it?
That's it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Get home safely.
And you like you somewhere?
I'll throw it up somewhere and send
Your
it to
seconds, especially if you like the veggie stuff.